Okay, our Dvar Torah for today is actually a very short one. In our Parshas Bamidbar, we go through the names of the Shvatim, and it says always a name with a Hey in the beginning and a Yud at the end. The Mishpachat says the name, and so Rashi comments that this shows that God wanted to demonstrate. Lest people think that the Egyptians were able to be sholate on our bodies, Egyptians were able to rule over our bodies, over our souls, and that we cannot, these were not holy, the families became impure by the Egyptians who were able to violate Jewish women. So God attributes it, puts his own name around the name to show that these are holy families. And it shows that when a family is holy, that God's name is there. And there is hardly any value in the Jewish people that is more appropriate, more holy than the family. Do you ever notice when two grandmothers get together, what's the first thing they do? Take out their wallet, look at my Einachach, look at my grandchildren. Do you ever see two doctors get together here? Look at my patients? It doesn't happen because family to us is so important. I'll tell you a quick story. All right, it's not so quick. Here's our short, long story. I was speaking in Baltimore. I took a train down there and I got there in the afternoon, and my talk was that evening. Got into a taxi taking me to where I was going. The driver, bald head, I always talk to taxi drivers, and got a book out of this. I'm talking to him, and he started asking me what time the sun set. And funny question for someone to ask me, and I was wondering maybe he's Jewish and his yard site, and sure enough that was the case. And he starts telling me after we were speaking, we were schmoozing, that his daughter is in the University of Maryland. She's in love with a non-Jew, and he's going out of his mind. I was going to say he's ripping out his hair, but he was bald. And what is he to do? So I said, sir, I'm not in a terrible hurry. If you're willing to turn off the meter, I'll go speak to your daughter. He said, great. Sir, turn off the meter. When we drive out to the campus, we find her in the dormitory. And I told her the following. This is a story with a happy ending. I told her the following. There was a boy who was in love with a non-Jewish girl. Parents were out of their minds, trying every which way to convince this boy not to marry the girl. And the father spoke to him, and the mother spoke to him, and the Baba spoke to him, and the Baba schreint his Baba, and Tante Sprinz, everyone spoke. But no one could convince this boy not to marry the girl. Finally, a man shows up and said, give me 1.5 hours with your son, don't ask me what I say, and I'll convince him not to marry this girl. I said, Herzchaim rebuked. He's been for 2 weeks, nothing's going to change his mind. He said, give me a chance. So, we've made a bracha already. This fellow goes and speaks to the boy. They come out 2.5 hours later with a solicitous arm around each other. He said, the boy announced, I'm not going to marry the girl. What happened? He wasn't talking. He wasn't talking. But later, it was revealed. The fellow said, tell me, my friend, why do you want to marry this girl? Why do you want to marry this girl? She's beautiful, she's attractive, she's clever, she's smart, she's fine. Gilt-edged characteristics. He said, you know something? I know the girl. And you're right. A gutta, a fina, a shena, everything's good except for one thing. You're thinking now, in the Jewish perspective, is always to look towards the future. Look towards the family. Let me ask you a question. Don't look now, look 25 years from now. How many children do you want to have? I want to have 4 kids. Okay, 25 years from now. 25 years from now, your wife will lose some of her hair, she'll have a belly, lose some teeth. Now, 4 kids, let's say 24, 22, 19, and 16. 2 boys, 2 girls. You're going to come home, you're going to find the girls lying with their boyfriends in the living room, the boys with their girlfriends in the hallway, and you'll be the Jew stuck in a corner. Is that what you want? All of a sudden, the eyes opened up. We look towards the future. The family is always the most important thing. So therefore, the Yud and the Hey is always to show that the Kedusha of the family, and we've always been ala mishmar to know that when things try to cut away at the family, then the Jewish internal antenna goes off and tells all kinds of alarms, something inherently wrong. The idea of marriages. I don't want to talk about these things, but things which are violently against the family are something which we know are wrong. One example which has always troubled me, in kibbutzim, they take children away from parents and they put them they keep them away from the parents and they raise them away from the parents. This is something which violates Torah law, it violates Torah concept, it violates Torah ideology, it violates the kedusha of a family. And there's no happy ending to that story. We know that the kids from these kibbutzim, they missed having the warm, sheltering atmosphere of a parent, and they did not come. They came out with plenty of problems that are not found with a family. That's the reason why Rav Shach said that far more important than boys staying in the dormitories, boys should be living at home. The best dormitory in the world can't supply what the worst family can provide. I guess there are a few exceptions to that as well, but the family is the most important thing, and that's attested to in our parsha. Shabbat Shalom.